This 12-year-old is about to go to jail. But why? What did she do? Before we tell you what happened, here are some of the craziest moments caught inside a courtroom. Number 3. This is Ramon Bueno. He is in court today for a truly shocking crime. One day, Bueno and his friends were pulled over by Officer James Casey when Bueno suddenly took out a gun and shot Officer Casey in the face.
I want you to tell us about what happened that night, how it got to where we are today.
I said, your social security number. I said, have your social security number. I'll run you that way. And so he said 6. And then he said, when he said 6, I started to lean in because it sounded like he was giving me something. And he said 0. And I heard 0. And the next thing I heard was an explosion. I remember Ray, our Trooper Cruz, Ray, I saw him. I remember him straddling me. And I remember I was looking up at him. And he kept saying, Casey, Casey. He's like, you okay, you okay? And I remember he told me that I had been shot.
Officer Casey was forced to go through 17 different surgeries to have his face reconstructed. Bueno was found guilty of 7 charges, including aggravated assault, and sentenced to 85 years in prison. Important note. In Arizona, where this incident occurred, aggravated assault is classified as a felony, with the severity of the felony depending on the circumstances of the case. A case like this would usually be classified as a Class 2 felony, which is the most severe form of aggravated assault, usually involving life-threatening injuries or extreme situations. It can be punished with up to 4 to 10 years in prison for first-time offenders and fines of up to $150,000. Number 2. This is Jonathan Hearn. He is in court today after he shot and killed a man. Yes, Jonathan Hearn was in a relationship with Sabrina Lyman, and the two were happy together. The only issue? Sabrina was already married to someone. The couple wanted to be together, so they came up with a plan to eliminate Sabrina's husband. So one day, Hearn went to the husband's workplace and shot him. Investigators initially suspected robbery, but quickly turned their attention to Sabrina and Hearn after finding out about their affair. Hearn was soon arrested, but shockingly, he agreed to testify against Sabrina to reduce his sentence.
We talked about things that I would say normal people who are dating or going out probably wouldn't discuss. For Rob's sake, she expressed that he would honestly rather be dead than divorced.
Before his sentence was announced, Hearn had a few words to say.
To Robert's family and his dear friends, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for stealing your brother, your friend. I'm sorry for the grief that I caused. To Robert's mother that broke her heart. The 2 children whose dad I took away from them. I'm so sorry.
Hearn was sentenced to 25 years and 4 months in prison, while Sabrina received 25 years in prison. Important note, since Hearn was only 24 years old when the incident occurred, he can be considered for early parole under the law of youth offender parole. Under this law, if an offender commits the crime before turning 25, they are eligible for a parole hearing after serving 14 years of their sentence. And finally, number 1. This is Morgan Geyser. She is in court today after she tried to kill her own best friend. Yes, Morgan and her friend Anissa Weier lured Peyton Leutner into a forest where they stabbed her 19 times and left her to die. Their motive? They wanted to appease Slender Man, the fictional horror character.
Morgan said, hey, Anissa, we should be proxies. I was like, okay, how would we do that? She said, we have to kill Bella because we had to supposedly prove ourselves worthy to Slender.
Luckily, Peyton managed to somehow survive and crawl out of the woods from where she was rescued. The duo were soon arrested, but Morgan seemed to be unaffected and showed no remorse for her actions. In fact, she could even be seen dancing and singing during the interrogation.
Are you going to put me in prison and I'm gonna rot and die? Please don't. I have just went through. I'm having a very intense one on the outside. Sometimes I'm looking.
Weier and Geyser were eventually found not guilty by mental disease or defect and committed to mental health institutions. Geyser was sentenced to 40 years, while Weier received a sentence of 25 years. Important note, when someone is found not guilty by reason of mental illness, it means they didn't understand their actions at the time of committing the crime. So instead of going to prison, they are sent to a mental hospital for treatment, and they stay there until doctors decide they are no longer a danger to themselves or others. That's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.